Welcome to another edition of the Arkansas Football Recruiting Report with Otis Kirk. I'm Will Monclair. Otis, we got a bunch to talk about. We got some new coaches. We got some new players coming in. First off, how you been, pal? It's been 2 weeks. I know you've been hanging out with our friends, Courtney.
Yeah, I've been doing good, man. It's fine. Just the ice is gone, so I'm doing better.
Yeah, no, seriously. I mean,
So tired of slipping and sliding, man, trying to walk on that junk.
it's tough. I mean, the snow is one thing. Courtney
Yeah.
was one person who did a power slide in her car in the snow. But yeah, no, that snow is no problem. It's just when it melts, refreezes,
Yeah.
and then it's just an ice rink, and you really can't control anything that's most dangerous. But
Yeah.
everybody's here to talk football, so let's talk about some football. We're going to jump right into Jaquan McRoy, class of 2024, O lineman out of Pinson Clay, Clarkville.
Yeah.
Otis, what's going on there?
Well, he announced his top 10, and this is one of the biggest kids I've ever seen in my life, Will. I mean, I saw him last summer at the camp, and he's 6'8", 345 pounds, and believe me, that is legit. He
Wow.
is every bit that, if not more. But he announced the top 10 on one day this week, whatever day it was, and it was Arkansas, Oregon, Tennessee, Auburn, LSU, Miami, Kentucky, Florida, Georgia, and Ole Miss. So, I mean, pretty much the schools you would expect. Just a big time offensive line, 4-star. Cody Kendi is working him hard, trying to get him to be one of the offensive linemen in the class of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
They've already got a commitment from one player in Alabama, Kavion Anderson, a 4-star defensive end. And so if they could pull in a 4-star offensive tackle or offensive guard, wherever they want to play Jaquan at, that'd be fine. But I would imagine tackle. But I think he's one of those kids that could play anywhere. He reminds me a little bit of Imarian Harris when I saw him play in high school. I mean, built kind of like him, real tall, and Amarian played guard in the bowl game. So, I mean, you think of those taller players playing outside at the tackle spots, but, Sam played Dan Skipper for a year in at guard with Denver Kirkland, when he had the tackles that he wanted, but those two were too good to get on the field. I mean, too good to not get on the field as true freshmen. So when Sam was an offensive line coach here, he put those two kids at guard for a year, and Skipper, big kid, and so, I mean, it's possible to play guard at that size. I mean, Sam has done it. He's got that unique ability to move people around and let them play. Cody did the same thing, like I said, with Imarian Harris. So anyway, wherever he plays, and I would imagine it could be any of the 4 positions other than center, somebody will get a really good one there. And Arkansas made the final 10. I think once he cuts it again, whenever that is, I think Arkansas will make the cut again. I think they'll get an official visit from this kid, unless there's something happens in the next few weeks to change it. And that happens with 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds all the time, Will. But unless something changes dramatically, not just a whim, but something changes dramatically, I think Arkansas will get his top 5 and get an official visit from him when the time comes to set that.
Yeah, absolutely. I can only imagine being 17, trying to make a decision of a lifetime.
Yeah.
Glad I was never in that
They change
position.
their mind. I
Yeah.
have people all the time, but you said, yeah, well, we know 17, 18 never change their mind, So, yeah, I said, when I talk about these kids, I'm talking about as of right now. And we know 2 months, 2 days, 2 minutes, 2 hours from now, they can change their mind. But especially when you get past the 2 hours and get into months and weeks and even a year, anything can happen in that period of time. So, but right now, I think Arkansas's got a really good chance of getting a visit from him. Now, will they get him? That a lot of things go into that. So I don't know about that. I wouldn't say Arkansas is the favorite, but I think they've got a decent shot at it. I know he liked it up here last summer. He loved it. But like I said, gosh, he was huge. I mean, and he moved pretty well.
How huge
I
is
actually
huge?
watched some drills with him where they worked with him on his drills, and he can actually move pretty darn well. He's not like just a big kid who is stationary and can't move. He can actually move around.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I had my eye opener on how fast these big kids are when I was talking to some old lineman down in Dallas, and it was me, Alyssa, and Courtney, we were all at the Star, and we were doing the story on the program in the practice facility, and I had the bright idea of, oh, let's run a 40 and see what I get, and it was like a 6 something, and I told one of DJ's friends, and he was like, oh, that means I got you beat, and I was like, oh no, oh god, and it was a big old lineman, so no, those kids really can't move.
Yeah.
Long story short, I know that we got off a little bit of a tangent there. Next one, sticking with the class of 2024, Walker White, quarterback, Little Rock Christian, going to Auburn rather than the
Yeah.
Hogs. What are you hearing on that front?
Yeah. Well, Arkansas, Kendall Briles made Michael Hawkins a priority for quite a while and was going to get a commitment from Michael. I know there were a lot of crystal balls on the internet sites, recruiting sites for him to go to OU, but Michael Hawkins was going to be a Razorback. From Allen, Texas. Now he's at one of the Frisco schools now. He moved. I forget the Frisco school he went to. He's not considering Arkansas anymore. So, but he was at Allen at the time, and I feel really certain on January 30th, Arkansas was going to get a commitment from Michael Hawkins, no matter what the crystal ball said. But Kendall Briles left, and he had made Michael a priority and had not recruited Walker like he should have. And Dan Enos did all he could. He first stop he made on the recruiting trail, and I had a story about this, and I imagine others did as well. As Dan Enos went straight to Little Rock Christian, but by then, the damage was done. And Walker named the final 3 the other day without even having Arkansas in it. Now with that said, is there any? I mean, it's not out of the question. I don't think it's going to happen. But we talk about kids changing their mind. There's no reason Dan Enos can't continue to recruit Walker and try to flip him and show him he is a priority now. I don't think it will happen as far as him flipping to Arkansas, but I'm just saying in recruiting, it's rough. It's hard to say never. I mean, it may be highly unlikely, but I'm not going to say never.
Why
I don't
think
it will
Kendall
happen.
made him a priority?
No, he did not. I think he liked what Hawkins brought to the table, more of a true dual threat. Walker's the type kid that I think Hawkins wouldn't like this description of him, but I think he run first, pass second, do both well. I think Walker's pass first, run second, do both well. I think he was looking more at Michael Hawkins being a true dual threat, doing more things with probably can do more with his legs than Walker can, but both of them are very good quarterbacks, Will. I mean, both those kids are very good. Whoever gets Hawkins, whether it's TCU, OU, whoever gets him, going to get a very good quarterback. And Auburn's getting to go with Walker. But now that leaves Arkansas. Where do they go in 2024 if they can't get Walker to flip back, which, like I said, I don't think happened, but I'm not going to say never because in this business, it's rough to say never because the minute you say never, something happens. So, in Florida, Adrian Posse is a quarterback, about 6'4", 205 pounds. All these kids are 4 stars. Now, these are all 4 stars, just like Hawkins and just like Walker White, the kids I'm going to talk about. But once again, these are kids that pretty much were offered by Kendall Briles. So will Dan Enos go a different direction? I don't know. We'll see. But these are good quarterbacks. These are 4 stars. They have not committed anywhere that do hold an Arkansas offer. In addition to Adrian, you got Josh Flowers out of Mobile Baker in Alabama. This is a dual threat for sure. Josh has been here a few times on visits. Aaron Nolan out of Georgia is another kid can really throw the ball. He can with the name Aaron Nolan. I may have said Aaron Jordan. I meant Aaron Nolan. I think I said Aaron Jordan, man. Yeah, Aaron Nolan. I do. I think it's idiot said that. Aaron Nolan is his name.
Names are tough.
Out of Georgia. And then Jake Parklinger, another quarterback out of Georgia, about 6'3", 195. Those are some kids that they're looking at that they have offered scholarships to. That maybe, if they had gotten Hawkins, then those kids were not going to get to come to Arkansas. But Flowers has been here a few times. He's got strong interest in Arkansas, and he's good. Like I said, all those kids I just named, all 4 of them are 4-star quarterbacks. Adrian's been here on a visit, Adrian Posse. Nolan, I'm not sure if he's made an unofficial visit or not. I'm honestly, I can't remember I don't remember that he has, but I can't say for sure he has it. But but they've got plenty of time to get these kids on campus. Official visits for 2024 will start up later in the spring, and then with spring ball, these kids will be getting spring break at their schools. They'll be coming and watching spring ball, so they've got plenty of time to get in strong on a quarterback, one that Dan Enos likes. And
Yeah.
so I don't worry about that. You've got KJ for this year, but then after that, you've got Jacoby Criswell, you got Malachi Singleton. So you're set with two really good quarterbacks after this coming year. So you're set with two really good quarterbacks, assuming they don't transfer. So you got time to pick out the one. Dan Enos got time to pick out the one he wants, do a good job recruiting, and get the kid. So there's no reason to panic over Walker White or Auburn. It was a loss, but when you don't recruit a kid like you should, and you ignore the kid, basically, I hate to use the word ignore. It may make Arkansas mad, but I don't think Kendall Briles showed the kid the interest, and he was all set on Michael Hawkins. And as I said, he was probably going to get Michael Hawkins, but gonna, woulda, coulda, shoulda in recruiting doesn't matter. When there's a coaching change, everything goes up in the air. And Arkansas suffered with Walker in the regard that I don't think Kendall made him priority that he should have. I think Dow Loggins might have. If Dow Loggins, I think is the main reason Walker got offered. Dow was pretty strong on looking at Walker for but anyway, we'll see how it works out. But Arkansas will get a quarterback out of the deal. And like I said, all those kids I mentioned, Walker's a 4-star, Michael Hawkins is a 4-star. Every kid, those 4 I just named are all 4 stars as well. So if you go by the star rankings, you're trading one 4-star for another one. So we'll see. I think I've seen some of these kids on film.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember watching Merklinger on film. I may have, but I watched Nolan, Flowers, and Posse. I saw, and they can do the things that Arkansas wants a quarterback to do. They can do both. None of these are just straight runners or straight passers. They can all do both, just like I said Hawkins and Walker could. All these kids can do both. Some are stronger in a passing game than they are the running game. Some are stronger in the running game than the passing game. But all these kids are dual threats and can. You don't get to be a 4-star being a one-dimensional quarterback. You just don't.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that.
Well, I guess you might if you're a pro style and you can throw it like some of these kids. I shouldn't say that because you can if you're a pro style and you can throw the ball like Tom Brady. You're going to get rated high. You don't have to run. So I shouldn't say you don't get to be one-dimensional. But I just mean for dual threats, you don't get to be a 4-star for a dual threat unless you can do both. That's what I meant, not the pro style, but the dual threat.
Yeah, no, I knew what you meant, Otis, and I think all things considered, it's still going to be a very exciting year for that quarterback room.
Yeah.
Let's switch over to scholarships. So Pittman speaking for the first time this last week since, oh my God, I don't even know when, but we got to talk to Dan as well.
Since a bowl game, I think. I don't think we've talked to Sam. I don't think we've talked to Sam since the bowl game down in Memphis. Off the top of my head, that's the last time I can think of it.
Yeah, no,
I was so busy writing stories, I didn't go down. I was up in the press box, so I didn't go down. So I hadn't talked to him since God knows when. But anyway, yeah, I talked about on here.
The bowl game?
I don't think
did we talk to Sam after the bowl game? We did once. Thank you. Courtney's giving me the look of like, what are you talking about? We did talk to him once after the bowl game. Long story short, it's been a very long time. You asked him, I believe it was you who asked him about the 9 remaining scholarships in the plan for him. Let's remind everybody what he said and your thoughts on it.
Yeah, last week I think it was last week, if not, it was the week before, I talked about where I thought they would go with the remaining. I had them with 9, some had them with 8, and it was 9 that they have left. And I talked about where I thought they would go with those scholarships. I don't think I was very far off, but I said, it's going to be a question I'm going to ask Sam, and Sam can tell you better than I can. Sam knows his needs a lot more than Otis Kirk does, but I think I was pretty close. But here's what Sam said. He wants a bigger interior defensive lineman, which is obvious.
Yep.
They've gotten 2 star defensive ends, outstanding rush ends out of the portal. The kid from Missouri, the kid from the kid from Pittsburgh, they've done well at rushing, but they haven't gotten the big kid inside. That's a priority. Might take a linebacker. They're simply because of numbers, not because of talent. They've got good talent there, but the numbers are somewhat down. Secondary, they've taken a bunch of kids, but they would take some more. And he said secondary. I think the bigger need, and this is just me talking, would be the safety nickel type, Will.
Yeah.
I'm going to go a step further than Sam did on the defensive back. Not saying they turned down a great cover corner. You never do that. But I think numbers-wise, I think the bigger need would be in the safety nickel type position. I think that's where they would love to get some kids. You got Walcott, and he is a stud from Baylor. I mean, I love that kid. But you need more. And they've got high school kids, Metcalf and those and Dillon and those kids. You've got high school safety. But I think numbers-wise, you've got pretty good number of corners. I think safeties and nickelbacks is where you might look hardest in the portal. Okay, on offense, he said this at the early signing period press conference we had. Sam said that he wanted a offensive guard maybe type who could snap the ball, more of an interior. Because you think you lose Wagner, you lose Luke Jones, you're thinking, man, they need tackles. But Sam's saying he'd like another, because Luke Jones can go in there and snap. All these kids, Sam is big on getting, Wagner was about the one offensive lineman who absolutely did not snap. The rest of them pretty much good. Stromberg handled the duties, but Latham and those others they knew how to snap. Luke Jones played left tackle, but he knew how to snap. Emergency deal.
Yeah.
You don't want to get the game Bo Limmer, or Latham not be able to snap the football. So that's what I'm getting at. And he said maybe he had stuck with that. That's what he said during the early period. They'd like to have an interior offensive. So they might take a tight end. He said they're good at wide receiver, but if there's a can't miss kid, that wasn't his word. I don't remember the word Sam used. But if there wasn't a stud, they're okay at receiver, but he's not going to turn down a Traylon Burks. He didn't say that. That's my word. But he said, we're good at receiver. And he did. It was an interesting question. I think Hutch asked him about the 3 kids they've got not being Power 5 players, And he answered, hey, the other SEC schools that offered them weren't worried about. Look, man, Isaac Taslaw, he called him Taslaw, so I'm going to take Sam's words. That's how you pronounce that name, Phil. I had no idea. You got Isaac Taslaw, you've got Tyrone Broden, and Andrew Armstrong. And those all came from smaller schools. But, boy, they're big kids who've got speed, got size. I think Arkansas is going to be good in the receiver room. But, as I said, he said quarterback and running back, obviously, they're fine. We don't know Dominic's status at running back with the ACL injuries. We know he can play, but we don't know if he's going to be able to play. But you have Rocket, you have Rashad, you have AJ. Rashad and AJ showed in the Liberty Bowl what they can do, Will. They showed exactly what they can do down there. So, yeah. But, yeah, and so – so I mean, that's pretty much where they would go with denying scholarships, and that's pretty much what we had said on this show. I mean, most of that's pretty obvious stuff. I mean, it was just we knew Sam had already said they wanted another interior offensive lineman. And this was after he got Josh Braun. So it was after that. They haven't signed an interior defensive lineman, so we knew they needed that. They tried to get another linebacker. One visited, didn't come here. And then I look at the safety position, like I said, somewhere I think they might need some help. And then you tied in, they brought in 2 for official visits during that 5-day window. Didn't get either one of the kids. One of them went to Baylor. One went to Coastal Carolina. Surprised me a little bit on the on Jake Roberts. I guess Jake the Snake. He had to be Jake the Snake if he came. Jake Roberts went to Baylor. I really thought Arkansas might get him, so I was wrong there. But but whatever. For whatever reason, he went to Baylor. So good luck to him there. He's a good kid. But I tell you, they did add Shamar Easter on Wednesday officially, but we knew that was going to happen. But that, like I said, that's 9 scholarships, and we had talked about it. I think I was actually really close on what the needs were. But Sam, it was good to hear that from Sam. Yeah, that was my question, and I wanted to hear it, So, and let him answer it for me.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see everything and how it shakes out in the spring. A tight end would be very interesting, but I agree with you there in the secondary.
March
Yeah.
March 9th is beginning of spring ball, Will. March 9th.
Wow.
That's the first day of spring football at Arkansas.
It's
March
crazy
the
that
9th.
baseball's almost here.
Yeah.
I don't know how much baseball you
Got
watch, but I know
basketball, we
Melissa's
got
very excited.
baseball, we got football. I mean, that's never and then recruiting in March when it's dead period ends, recruiting will pick back up. It's yeah, Lanny's watching. My bonus. He can send me another bonus in the mail today. I mean, $1 million. $1 million buyout or whatever he wants to say.
Whatever it needs to be, whatever that number is.
Yeah, pocket change for Lanny. Just send me that $1 million, man. Give me that pocket change.
Oh, seriously.
It's getting ready. It's always busy, man. I hear people say, "I'm glad you got a break." I mean, where's that break at? I mean, you don't come to my house and work. There's no such thing as a break. I mean, it's something all the time.
Yeah, no, but talking about sports though, we're really going into the equinox of everything going on. But no, it really will be exciting, especially with softball, baseball, track, basketball, women's basketball, men's basketball, March Madness. Oh my God, spring football. We got so much on the horizon, so much to look forward to. But Otis, that's all the time we got. Don't forget to check back in next week for another episode of the Arkansas Football Recruiting Report. Thanks, Otis.
Thanks, Will. Appreciate you, man.
You too.
Have a good one.